My name is Hurin Ibn Desmond and I am a BNO student.
Okay. So, how long have you been learning English?
If from academically point of view, it's from standard 1, but of course I've been exposed to English since I'm in, what do you call it, Tadika? Yes, like that.
Alright. So, have you faced any difficulties in learning and understanding the English language?
At first, yes, of course. When I am a child, I face some difficulties because I did not know certain verbs and vocabularies, right? But because I mainly read novels and comics like that, so it's gotten easier for me to understand English better.
Okay, that's good. Alright, so what methods do you use to learn English?
Methods. I don't have really a systemized method because I am not exactly a conventional learner. I'm a conventional type of person because, yeah, just like I say, I learn from reading. Yes.
Okay, that's good. And how often do you use English in your daily life?
Daily, actually, every hours, every second, because even when I'm thinking, I still think in English to the point where I cannot speak Malay sometimes.
Alright, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum, sister.
Waalaikumsalam.
What's your name and your major?
My name is Nur Afrinda binti Bakrafani. I'm majoring in Tassil, teaching Arabic as second language.
How long have you been learning English?
I think I've been learning English 12 to 13 years.
Right. So, have you faced any difficulties in learning and understanding the English language?
Honestly, yes, because in my primary school, I got C and also D for my best for English subject.
Alright. So, what methods do you use to learn English?
I think by reading books, because in secondary school, my English teachers encourage us to read English books, so she buy a lot of English books for us to read.
Oh, that's good. Alright, and last question is, how often do you use English in your daily life?
I think it's very often now because we are in UIA. I love speaking in English actually, but I don't really like reading or writing. Reading is okay, but writing is not really my cup of tea. Yes.
So thank you, sister.
Is that your idea or hers?
Is that your idea or hers?
There is an audible linking process in Sister Hurin's speech. She utters a clear linking r sound, resulting in the pronunciation as your idea. This leads to smoother transition from r in your to ayin in idea, which reflects the use of connected speech that are usually found in fluent English language. This reflects her background as an English language major, meaning that her spoken English is more prominent than the average Malay speakers. Meanwhile, for Sister Nur Afrina, she has no audible linking process, meaning that she does not link the final consonant r in your to the initial vowel I in idea. Besides that, we can also hear a pause from your to idea, which could mean that she reads the sentence word by word instead of using casual speech. Considering her major in Arabic language education, she is more likely to not use linking process in her spoken English.
I never expected him to show up.
I never expected him to show up.
For the sentence, I never expected him to show up, for Sister Hurin, there is no linking process because she omits the final consonant r in never and continues to pronounce e in expected, right after the schwa sound in never. However, there is no pause between the two words, meaning that Hurin links the words immediately. Therefore, this reflects her smooth and fluent spoken English because she does not pause between the two words. However, for Sister Afrina, we can hear a tiny pause in the sentence between never and expected, even though there is also no linking process that is audible. Like Hurin, she also omits the r sound in never, making the e sound in expected more prominent and distinct. Therefore, looking at her background, it makes sense since she is reading the sentence by uttering the sound e clearly instead of letting it link with the r sound before it.
I know it's hard, but you get through.
I know it's hard, but you'll get through.
And last but not least, for this sentence reading method, we give them the last sentence, which is, I know it's hard, but you will get through. I know it's hard, but you will get through. You hear my pronunciation? I link between the sound no and it's. Okay, so that is what Sister Hurin did, because she presented a clear and common instance of linking in connected speech, specifically between the words no and it's. The primary phonetic phenomenon demonstrated by her was vowel-to-vowel linking, and, surprisingly in English, when the vowel sound is followed by a word beginning with a vowel sound too, speakers commonly employ a glide consonant, which in this case is the w sound, to make it more connected and sound natural. However, it cannot be said the same for Sister Afrina because there was a noticeable lack of linking between no and its in her pronunciation. Specifically, the final vowel of no was pronounced distinctly from the initial vowel of its without the insertion of a linking w glide. This resulted in a slight break or a more deliberate word-by-word articulation of the phrase. So, her pronunciation sounds more awkward and less natural. She did not apply connected speech, specifically linking phenomenon, in her speech.
Go on, tell me the truth.
Alright, so for this spontaneous speech method, Sister Hurin had pronounced go on as go on. It is link phenomenon because she did insert a glide consonant sound which is w in her speech. The formal or the standard pronunciation for this phrase should be just go on, but then she linked it to go on. Do you see the difference? Go on and go on. So she successfully applied the expected linking and shows automaticity in producing common vowel-vowel links, contributing to a natural rhythm.
I already told you I agree with you.
For the sentence, I already told you I agree with you, we are focusing on the linking process between the words I and agree, meaning that we link the two words together to become I agree. But Sister Afrina does not have linking process in this spontaneous speech, meaning that instead of uttering the words I agree, she simply stated I agree, meaning that there is an audible pause between I and so there is no linking process that occurs. This actually suits her background as someone who is not prominent in the English spoken language, considering her major as an Arabic education major.
Camera, camera, camera.
Canberra, Canberra, Canberra.
For the first participant, she pronounced camera as camera with all three syllables clearly said. So this shows no addition as the middle vowel was kept. So her pronunciation follows the full form used in careful speech, and this may be influenced by Indian English, which often keeps all vowel sounds together. However, for the second participant, she pronounced camera as camera, leaving out the middle vowel. So this is an example of addition where the unstressed schwa sound is dropped, making the word two syllables instead of three. So instead of the native like camera, she used a full sound, likely due to the influence from her first language, which doesn't use vowel reduction.
Friendship, friendship, friendship.
Friendship, friendship, friendship.
Indian English is known to simplify or adjust consonant clusters due to the influence from the first language like Hindi, Tamil, or Malayalam, which typically avoid complex clusters in middle positions. Therefore, the elision of the d sounds in friendship could be both a universal phonological tendency and a transfer from the first language phonetic constraints. Similarly, Indonesian phonology does not permit many complex consonant clusters, especially those involving three consonants. Hence, speakers often drop middle consonants when learning English. So, in this case, second participants likely elided the d sounds to simplify the pronunciation of the unfamiliar d cluster.
Actually, actually, actually.
Actually, actually, actually,
The first participant pronounced actually as actually, which is the full careful pronunciation. There was no vowel reduction or sound omission. This may be influenced by the spelling formal pronunciation habits, which are common among Indian English speakers, especially in academic or clear speech contexts. However, for the second participant, she reduced the syllables by omitting the oo's vowel sounds by saying actually instead of full actually. So this is a form of vowel elision, likely influenced by her first language, which is Bahasa Indonesia, which generally prefers simpler syllable structures and avoids complex vowel clusters. So this results in a faster, more compressed pronunciation.
Left button, left button, left button.
left button, left button, left button.
Both participants omit the th sound at the end of the left, saying left button instead of left button. So this is a common elision in connected speech, especially when a word ends in a consonant clusters like f, and the next word begins with a consonant. So the th sound is dropped to make the transition between words easier and faster. So this kind of elision is also typical in many non-native English accents and in informal native speech.
Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
For the first participant, she elided the middle vowel which is typical of connected speech. However, she pronounced the ending as late instead of late, likely influenced by the spelling of late. So this shows a mix of natural speech process elision and orthographic influence, which is common in learners who rely on written forms, but according to the Roche 2009, Benzel and Harrison 1993. Next, for the second participant, she pronounced chocolate as chocolate, which reflects the typical native-like reduction of the middle syllable. This shows a case of elision where the unstressed vowel in the second syllable is omitted, reducing the word from 3 to 2 syllables.
She must be tired after working the whole day.
She must be tired after working the whole day.
Hiba's Elision usage aligns with typical features of spontaneous speech that makes her speaking style smoother and quicker. Hiba dropped the final t in must, producing must be. This is a consonant cluster elision, where t is deleted to ease the transition into the following bilabial b. Also, the r in tired was not clearly produced or pronounced, indicating r elision. Apart from that, in working, the r was also not clearly produced. Hiba pronounced it as working. This again aligns with her first language influence and the overall tendency toward non-rhotic patterns. Aina used more precise and deliberate pronunciation. She also dropped the t in must, but unlike Hiba, she left a slight pause between must and be, resulting in less fluent connection between the two words. This suggests that she is familiar with elision but does not fully apply linking, which encourages word separation. To add on, Aina did not pronounce the r in working strongly. It may have been weakened.
He asked me to come early, but I was running late.
He asked me to come early, but I was running late.
Hiba shows higher frequency of elision, reflecting faster speech rate. She reduced ask me to ask me, omitting the sound k. This is a case of consonant cluster elision where the sk cluster is simplified. Hiba also shows better fluency when she dropped the sound r when pronouncing early. This could be due to accent influence, because some Indian English varieties are non-rhotic, especially in South India or among speakers influenced by British English. Aini displays clearer, more formal articulation when reading the sentence. Her pronunciation of ask is clear without reducing the middle consonant sound sk. Her pronunciation is more careful and segmented, resulting in less elision. She retained the r sound in early. Indonesian English tends to be rhotic, pronouncing r in all positions, as the r is strong in Bahasa Indonesia.
He left the party.
He left the party.
Hiba demonstrates a greater tendency to use elision. There is an elision of the t in left, pronounced as left-the. This occurs between the final t and the initial voice dental fricative the in the. The tongue position for t and the is close, making the t susceptible to deletion during fluent speech. Aini articulates words more clearly and formally, which leads to fewer instances of elision. She pronounced the full form left-the, including the sound t, making it sound like left-the. This can be caused by her first language influence, reflecting in a more deliberate and structured pronunciation.
She got a cold shoulder from them.
She got a cold shoulder from them.
Hiba uses a clearer, more careful pronunciation, which results in less sound reduction. She pronounced the word got-a with a clear sound of t, less reduction, making it sound like got-a. Also, the word cold shoulder is pronounced as cold shoulder with the d included. Hiba's utterance shows a precise pronunciation, avoiding common reductions found in faster or casual English. For the word got-a, Aini spoke with a natural rhythm, linking her words fluidly and reducing the sound t, pronounced as gotta. Her speech sounded more relaxed and confident. However, she also pronounced the word cold shoulder the same as Hiba, pronounced as cold shoulder with the d included.
I found history exciting.
I found his story exciting.
Hiba's sentence reflects a high level of fluency with consistent connected speech, suggesting ease in spontaneous communication. She dropped the final d in sound found, resulting in found. This is a case of consonant elision where the voice plosive d is omitted in final position before a word beginning with a consonant h in history. However, Hiba pronounced the word history clearly, history instead of history. She maintained the full form, which may reflect a conscious choice to preserve the formal word structure. Reduced use of elision in Aini's pronunciation of the word found, final d that reflects a formal speaking style, likely shaped by her first language and speaking experience. Also, for the word history, like Hiba, they both pronounce all three syllables clearly, without dropping the weak t syllable. Nevertheless, Aini produced a reduced t in exciting, rather than fully articulating it. This may be due to developing fluency, but still maintaining influence from formal pronunciation habits. Hiba's sentence reflects a high level of fluency with